Hello, nerds! Thank you for joining me here on Nerd News Clips. This is the second channel. This is the place for all of the short form content as well as the individual sections and just generally speaking smaller things. If you are into the longer form content, youtube.com/generallynerdy is the place to go see that. With that out of the way, let's get into this. And then we got some rumor mill to talk about. So, rumor mill, we have new sources on old rumors, and some of these are pretty interesting. First up, we have Star Wars, the Damon Lindelof-led movie that we were thinking originally is going to be a trilogy. I think that might be because they announced it as a trilogy. Well, it is still happening. The rumor part of this is kind of twofold. First up is that the director is going to be Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy, who also directed Ms. Marvel. And then the other half of that is that it is no longer going to be a trilogy, that specifically Lucasfilm has nixed all trilogies going forward out the gate. Nothing is going to be a trilogy. Everything is going to be a one-shot movie unless it does well. And if it does well, then they'll open up the door for a trilogy for that specific movie, which seems still like they're missing the point, because if you want to do a trilogy, then the proper way to do it is to have a story ready. You have to plan this out to make it work. And that was the lesson we were supposed to learn from the sequel trilogy. It was like, well, they're flying by the seat of their pants, and it kind of is super obvious by that second and third movie. Maybe learn the right lesson next time, Lucasfilm. I don't know, but yeah, that's the rumor. So let's the likelihood. I think honestly, the director thing, the Sharmeen. I'm not going to try and say her last name again because I'm not going to say it right. But that part of it, I think honestly, if I'm remembering correctly, as I was coming up to film, I saw that this had been confirmed as real. Though I can't say that one way or the other. 100%. So we're going to say about 90% for the director thing. But the one-off movie, also, I'm giving that one pretty high. I haven't heard this from a lot of other sources, but the source that it comes from is pretty solid, which means we're going about 80% on that one. I would be very surprised if they wanted to sink a whole lot of money into another trilogy anytime soon, unless it was guaranteed return on investment. So there is that. Our next news source for rumor is more Doctor Doom stuff. This time, though, it goes a little bit further. We have from some pretty serious sources that Ryan Gossling is being very much considered, is likely to be Doctor Doom. And then we have one of these sources goes a little bit further and says that Adam Driver is going to be the opposite side of that coin in Reed Richards. What? Honestly, you could almost flip that and it would make a little bit more sense. Driver definitely, we know he can work it with a mask. Like that is very evident by the character of Kylo Ren. So we have that established. But then like, wow, just Ryan Gossling, I don't know. There's so much weird here. They're both talented actors, and I don't see Gosling in either of these roles. I'm not saying he can't handle it. It's just there's a better fit out there somewhere. I was actually talking to a nerdy friend of mine that said, you know, they should find a Romani actor to play the role of Doctor Doom, because that would make a little bit more sense. The accent would be a little closer to right, and so on and so forth. So I could see that argument a little bit more than I can see Ryan Gossling as Doctor Doom. But I mean, at this point, it's kind of hard to ignore. And the source that went on to name Adam Driver's also got a pretty dang good track record with their rumor leaks. So that puts us on a percentage point. Last time we didn't pay much, never mind really, to the Gosling announcement. I think we gave it like a 30 or 40%. I'm bumping that up to 60%. I think this has strong potential to be a thing, as weird as it sounds. And then Adam Driver, I'm also giving a 60%, because if the Gosling thing is that likely, that the Driver thing has got to be that likely. And they're not based on each other. They're both just the same source. Yeah. Very weird. All right, so next news source also has to do with Doctor Doom. This Doctor Doom rumor, which I think we've only talked about this once, so it's just more source. This is kind of rumor based on rumor, because the last time we talked about this, we said that it was a rumor that Doctor Doom was going to be in the post-credit scene for the Wakanda Forever movie. Well, this new rumor says that that rumor was accurate, but now they have removed Doctor Doom from the post-credit scene of Wakanda Forever, which is weird. Why would you do that? Probably because they don't have him cast just yet, and you know, Wakanda Forever is coming out very soon. So yeah, I guess that kind of makes sense. But this is still rumor based on rumor, and if our only way to prove this rumor is that Doctor Doom is not in the post-credit scene, I think that's a pretty provable part. But there's no way for us to prove the first bit if the second bit's true. So we're only giving the second bit a 50% likelihood because it's rumor based on rumor, and that's just a weird kind of, yeah, no. But that is all we have for new sources, so let's get into new rumors. We have Silver Surfer is the next one being rumored to be getting a Disney Plus special presentation. Silver Surfer special presentation. This is pretty weak sources, but it is multiple sources, just neither of them have a very good track record. So I'm going to give this one a 60%, and I think that's a little generous, but again, multiple sources are saying it, so it's a little more likely than not. Next, we're talking about Nicolas Cage. This is kind of two rumors from the same source there. Nicolas Cage, what with his Nicolas Cage renaissance that's going on right now, apparently we have Nicolas Cage is being rumored to be in talks for both another National Treasure movie as well as the Face Off rumor has resurfaced. This is not news source about the same rumor. This is a new rumor about the same subject, I guess. Yeah, so Nicolas Cage, sure, it's been a while since he's been in a blockbuster movie. He has said in interviews the only reason he hasn't done a big blockbuster movie is because he hasn't been asked to do these things. I don't know, this seems a little weak, but also super hype, so I'm gonna give this higher than it probably should get. We're gonna say about 70% likely that Nicolas Cage is gonna do both National Treasure and Face Off sequels. Red Death is our next rumor. So, we talked in TV streaming about Red Death and how pictures of a Red Death character are on set at the 9th season of The Flash. And now the rumor is who is inside the suit is Javicia Leslie, who, if you remember, played Batwoman in the Batwoman series, also on the CW, that didn't make it for very long. She was the second Batwoman because the first one, we've already covered all this. It's irrelevant to this. Javicia Leslie, Batwoman. It will obviously not be Batwoman playing Red Death because that's silly. But, well, let me phrase that slightly differently. It will not be the Batwoman from the series Batwoman inside the suit. The character will not be the same. Yes, it will still be a version of that character, but as we know from the comic books, Red Death is Bruce Wayne from a dark multiverse. So in the Arrowverse, or the Berlantiverse, or however you want to refer to that franchise, Red Death is going to be Batwoman from a different multiverse. Dark multiverse, I don't think is super likely, though. I mean, the name of the character is Red Death, so dark is kind of implied. But yeah, let's give this one a likelihood. As for actual evidence as to why this could be Javicia Leslie, there is not a whole lot. And what's there isn't super strong because it kind of looks like there's a guy inside that suit, just based off of the body type. So that being said, that's not to say that they're not going to cheat that a little bit, maybe use a male stunt double for certain shots and such, and then actually have Javicia Leslie, a version of her Batwoman inside the suit as far as the story goes, because they want to keep her on. They like that Ryan Wilde character. They feel like the Ryan Wilde character did decently in spite of the fact that the series got, demolished. So yeah, I think just based on, you know, current social climes and things, I think that is the only thing that is really lending itself to this rumor. So we're going to put it at about 55%, slightly higher than middle of the road, because there is a little bit of reason to believe that as we get closer to the release of this, we will definitely be keeping tabs on this rumor. And let's move right along. Our next rumor has to do with Wonder Man. Wonder Man over in Marvel. Apparently, Yahya Abdul-Mateen II is set to be cast for this role in an undisclosed movie, which is kind of backwards, right? Usually somebody gets cast in something and we don't know what the role is, but now we're hearing that he's been cast for a character and we don't know what the movie is. So this is really weak. I feel like Yahya Abdul-Mateen is kind of a busy man, so being part of the DCU and the MCU doesn't seem super likely. I mean, I don't know. He is kind of in-demand actor these days, so it would make sense if they were trying to get him. So let's say 40% likely, just because it's less likely than not, but yeah, that's where we're going. Next, we're talking about Storm in the MCU. Kevin Feige is apparently looking to get Halle Berry to reprise her role as Storm, which is kind of awesome. Though, I don't know, it seems like that potentially could axe some of the story potential for the character, unless they're doing some sort of multiverse thing and she's only coming for, say, the Secret Wars movie, which would kind of make sense. So will we see Halle Berry? Will we see Halle Berry come back as Storm for the MCU at large? Probably not. Will we see Halle Berry come back for some sort of cameo or small role as Storm from a different universe other than the 616 MCU universe? Yeah, I think there's a pretty good possibility for that. So we're going to say like 65% that she'll be a cameo and like 30% that it's going to be Storm for the MCU at large. Our next one has to do with GoldenEye. That's right, we got some more GoldenEye rumors, video game nerds. GoldenEye, with the interesting release schedule for the Nintendo Switch, it would seem that they are leaving their December release window pretty wide open, and that has gotten the rumor mill a-churnin', which means that the rumor is that GoldenEye for both platforms, Nintendo and Xbox, is going to be released in December. I would say, sure, this is not really based on any insider information. This is conjecture, it sounded like, from people who want to, give insider information. So everyone's kind of chalking it up that it is going to be a thing, and I think it's possible, though I don't want to get hopes up necessarily. So we're going to put this one right at 50%. Could go either way. Once again, this has been just a brief segment from the larger episode that has been posted over on the main channel, youtube.com/generallynerdy. Go over there for the long form content, or just subscribe here if you want it in bite-sized chunks. Thank you very much for joining me, nerds. We'll see you in the next one. Before we go though, always remember that if it's generally nerdy, it's probably here.